Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day seems a little longer. Every way love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? There you go, baby, here am I. Will you left me here so I could sit and cry? Well, golly gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Love you like I do.
Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Cars and Us. I'm your host, Dennis Tate. Today, Cars and Us is way out in quite a distance from Westchester. We're out in Long Island, not too far out. We're out in Nassau County, and we're at an event here with at Artano's Rock Saloon, Rock Cafe. Real nice place. The motif is all cars, and that's a segue into what we're going to cover today. It's an event put on by Dennis Quinones, so we'll get on an interview a little while. But he got together all the guys, the old timers that raced out here in Long Island, and it encompasses guys that ran drag racing, that ran the road courses, and that also ran stock cars. I'm standing right now in front of Al DeAngelis is Ace of Spades, a very famous, very well-known, and highly regarded stock car. So we're going to see a few of the cars out here that are parked out here. We got Vinny Musicaro, who has Jack Merkel's 33 Willys. That's out in front here. We've got a couple of custom Mercs. We've even got a couple of dragsters. So this is our outdoor test for today and show for today, but we're going to be indoors most of the day because we're going to be doing interviews with the likes of Coney Island Ralph, Jack Merkel himself, and all the guys from out here on the island that made history in Long Island and made racing what it was out in Long Island. So stick with us for the next 30 minutes. As I said on the intro, I was going to bring Dennis Quinones over here and do a little interview with him to tell you what he put together. It's going to be a real special day because these guys haven't gotten together in many, many years. So he spent a lot of time, spent a number of months, and we're in store for, like I said, for a treat because there's a lot of guys out here that that most of the guys in Westchester and that have been around racing, whether it be drag racing or stock car racing, they're all going to recognize all these names and faces when we get to talk to them later. But right now we're going to introduce Dennis Quinones.
Good, Tony.
Welcome you to Cars and Us.
Thank you.
And thank you for inviting us out here. And this is going to be some day. We're in store for a real treat out here.
Well, I think we are. We're pretty lucky with a couple of factors. First of all, of course, we got the weather on our side. We're
sure.
a little concerned with that. Secondly, we got some really dynamite cars here, some recently restored, some very famous unrestored. I just want to correct you at one thing. My last name is Quitoni.
Oh, I'm
Okay?
sorry.
That's okay.
Well, we
It's
got to
quite all
spell
right.
that out so we
I've
get the graphics
I've been
right.
called a lot of things. But inside the place today, we've got 75 guys that, through racing endeavors, either in business or in actual driving race cars or building race cars, that have been involved in this sport since the 50s. We got people from drag racing and stock car racing, even street riding. We got the curator of our only museum on Long Island for stock car racing, Marty Himes. And we've got some of the more famous cars, including the one we're standing in front of, Al DeAngelis' Ace of Spade car. A couple of restored front-engine Draxes. And we're all geared up to have a good time today. And there'll be some eating and drinking, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of stories being told.
Now we have, I brought some DVDs of my own, but not of Long Island, but other tracks around. We can. I understand you have footage of Islip at the stock car track.
That's correct. We have
also some National Speedway footage.
We have both. We have a continuously running story of stock car racing from the 50s to the 80s. It runs about an hour and a half, and it's going to run continuously. We also have about a 1 hour story, a video story of West Hampton, Islip Speedway, and New York National Speedway. So we're pretty much covered with racing.
Now, were you able to get Ed Eaton Jr.?
Ed Eaton Jr. is going to be here. He's not here right now, but in fact, I think he just showed up. I see him in the background. Okay. And Ed Eaton Sr. regrets not being able to be here today.
Well, he's relaxing in Boca.
Yes, he is. But we're thrilled to have Ed Jr. here. He's got plenty of stories from his dad. Right. And he's going to give us a little talk about the beginning days of drag racing, especially as it was involving National Speedway. Sure. And Marty Himes from the Marty Himes Museum is going to do the same thing with stock car racing. Right. So it's going to be a pretty interesting deal for everybody.
Dan, I have a lot of memorabilia too from National Speedway, but I couldn't fit everything, and I said I don't want to clutter up everything. So, what, I'm sure you guys have plenty of it out here.
We got more than we wanted, but I'm so thrilled with the outpouring of help that I've gotten, number one, and also the contributions in photographs and in videos and the cars. I know you've been filming the cars, and people love to see them. But more importantly, what we really did is we brought together guys that maybe haven't seen each other in 30 or 40 years.
That's the fun of it.
Yes, it is.
That's the fun of it. And, well, it's going to be a successful day, and, we're looking forward to talking to some of these guys.
I'm looking forward to meeting some of these people that I never met.
Right.
So it's going to be a good deal, and I thank you for coming down and giving some attention.
This is what keeps it going.
Thank you, Dennis.
Then, thanks so much.
Enjoy your day.
Another one of the true legends that are attending this function out here in Long Island is none other than Mr. Pontiac, Nunzi. Anybody that knows anything about Pontiacs know that Nunzi is Mr. Pontiac. So it's a treat for us to welcome Nuns to Cars and Us and have you on here. Nice to see you out here.
Thank you.
This is a great reunion.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that there were so many people here that we didn't see each other for the last 30, 40 years.
I know.
So it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking forward to get here.
Oh, sure. Now, you're from Brooklyn.
Right.
And as I said, the introduction, Mr. Pontiac. You've had Pontiacs for how long now? What was your first Pontiac? What was your first year?
My first Pontiac was 1961, 348 horsepower Pontiac. And then after that, I got a 64 GTO, which was the first one in the area. And then I got the 62 Super Duty aluminum front end car, which I still own it.
Right.
And then I went on to other cars. I had the Super Gates car, the Super Comp car,
and you're still going strong.
Yeah, but I retired now.
Oh yeah, well that's okay. But you're still around. You're still active.
I'm still
in the hobby.
I'm still into the hobby. I still have the people out over the phone.
Sure.
I still got my race cars. My son, he drives for me now. So I'm having a hell of a good time.
That's terrific. You are, so the viewers know, you are to us in this area with the Pontiacs as Beswick, Arnie Beswick was.
Well, I mean, I've been called the Jenkins over the Pontiac. I've been called Warren Johnson over the Pontiac. I've been calling, whatever.
Nuns, what got you into Pontiacs?
When I came from Italy in 1958, I was going to work on this dealership, and I would pass this Pontiac dealership, and they had a 58 Bonneville convertible
Right.
on the showroom. And I just loved the car.
Okay.
And I say, this is the car that I want to own.
Now, was that the Tri-Power?
Yeah, it was a fuel injection, that car.
Oh, fuel injected.
But I didn't buy it, that one. I'm saying I wanted to buy it, but because I was only here.
Sure.
Right, so, but it's how do I start the idea by me getting into Pontiacs. And then I wanted to be different. Everybody was into Ford, everybody was into
Chevrolet.
Chevy.
Right.
So I wanted to be different, and I wanted to make a mark
Right.
on the hobby, and I think that I did.
Oh, you certainly did. You're well known from up and down the coast here. That's for
I
sure.
mean, I got customers in Europe. I got customers all over. If anybody has a Pontiac, they ought to talk to me one time or another. They
Now-
ought to be.
Now, you said your son has taken over and he's racing.
Right, he drives the race car.
Okay, what tracks is he going to and what class is he running?
We run. I got an AFX 63 Tempest.
Oh, do you?
And we run all the nostalgia meets.
Oh, I see.
And that's what we do.
Oh, I didn't
But
realize that.
but I still got my Super Combo car, which I don't use it anymore.
Right.
And I got my C-Stock 62 aluminum front end car. I still got that. I got a 63 4-cylinder Super Duty Tempest, which is very rare. Yeah, I still got all my little toys.
Now, you ran all the tracks around here
Right.
years back. You ran West Hampton and
I ran
National.
West Hampton, National
Islip.
Speedway.
Did you run Islip?
Yes, I did. I ran Islip with my 61.
Wow.
I ran English Town. I'm in Dover, upstate New York, if you know.
That's
what
my home track.
Okay. Island Drakeway. I mean, Vaco, Pennsylvania. I went all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
I mean, I went all over. I mean, that was the
Of
thing.
course, you ran different classes, but you were very successful. You you held one of the records at one time, didn't you?
I did. I broke the B-Stock record in West Hampton, 111. Back in the day, they went only 50 miles an hour. They didn't get no ET.
Right.
It was 111.11. Nobody ever broke that record. They just took it out. In
And
1964.
it stood until the track fell.
That's right. That's right. Nobody broke that record. Before I broke the record, it was 109. It was owned by a 61 white Chevy. I don't remember the guy's name. And then I broke the record, 111.11. Yep.
That's terrific. You've had a great run, so to speak. You know?
So yeah, I think I did okay. But
Well, you know.
I'm still here, and I enjoy everybody here. It was great,
Well, you know what? It's really a pleasure to see you amongst all these legends out here as well. And hopefully this is
Do it again.
the first
We'll do it
one.
again another 50 years maybe.
Oh, keep doing it every year. No, it's a pleasure.
Father.
All right.
I love you.
Ciao.
If you need anything, you just let me know.
I call you for sure.
Okay,
For
thanks.
sure.
Bye.
Another pioneer, a legend in drag racing history, not only out in Long Island, but all over. Mr. Ralph Gandolfi, better known as Coney Island Ralph. Ralph, pleasure.
You know how I got that name, right?
Being from Brooklyn.
Well, no. No. I came out on a Saturday night to Hampton, and I had just built my 55, Hillborn injected, and it ran a lot better than we thought it would run. So I went home that night, and next day, the guys that we had run Saturday night came from Mitchell's in Brooklyn. They had a car called the Executioner, and they were waiting for me Sunday morning, but of course I went home. So the next week I went out, they protested me. But in the interim, they were saying, this guy Ralph, he comes from around Coney Island, and that's how I got the name.
That's
Who's
it,
this
huh?
guy Ralph, That's how I got the name, Coney Island Ralph.
Your first car was the 55?
The first car I had was a tan and ivory 55 hardtop, and that's where I met Jack Merkel. And I had run Eddie Sanzo, and he had a pretty fast A-gas car, and my car was running C-gas. And he caught me at the top of the quarter and passed me. And then next thing I know, Jack's standing next to me. He says, Ralph, I'm opening up a shop here in Shaler Avenue in Queens. He says, how about I give you a sponsorship? I said, sponsorship? I said, what does it mean? He said, well, I'll do all your motors for you, all the machine work. And that's how I got to know Jack, and that's how I really got involved in drag racing. And the next year, we came out with another 55, but I towed that one. You see, the other one I used to drive to the track. And it was a pretty fast car. 100 and, I think we went 117.88. And the best speed we had was 1202, which was fast in those days.
Oh, in those days, sure. What motor, Ralph?
It was a 352 with Hilborn, and it ran B gas. And my biggest rival out there was John Lobianco. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes, I know the name. I don't know him
And Bill
personally.
Bohr. Remember Bill Bohr?
Yes, sure.
Those were the guys that I had to worry about.
Now that's when we talk about out there, we're talking about West Hampton.
All West Hampton, and some little bit at Islip. I ran the championships at Islip.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
That eighth of mile was rough.
Well, you know what the problem there was?
Years.
You ran in between the concession stands
Oh, yeah.
and then into dirt.
That's for
And you
sure.
had to spin the car around to stop it.
That's for
you know?
sure. Oh yeah, rough track.
We went out there one weekend, and we had always run Bill Bohr in a quarter, and he never really beat me in a quarter. I always got him. So this guy, Tom Clark, his friend, he said, Ralph, come to the 8th mile and run Bill. So I came to the 8th, and Matty and I were there that day with Sal, and I blew the clutch in my car.
Oh,
So Bill Bohr comes over, he says, Ralph, you think you're going to get it back together? We had it all apart, and I already had somebody going in to pick up a clutch. And we got it back together. We ran around 6 o'clock at night. And I had to look through my back window when we ran to see a light come on in my lane. I must have beat him by a foot. And we became good friends.
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's usually the way.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Did you gear up for the eighth, or you didn't?
No, I ran a 557. That's what I ran in the car normally.
Did you?
It was a heavy car. It's 3,500 pounds.
Wow.
You know, so it ran good. I had an Isky RR7000, Hilborn injectors, and I bought a crankshaft company stroker kit right from California.
Now you were well known all over. What are some of the other tracks you ran?
Well, you know, you run the local tracks, and you're tired of racing the locals. It's hard. You know, you feel you're taking advantage. You know, because we were running.
And there's no competition after a while.
Well, yeah. So we used to go to Island. I'd go to Cecil County, Capital, Hackettstown, of course, Atco. You know, any place. What I would do is I'd look in the paper on a Tuesday when National Dragster came out, and I'd look in drag news. If there was a fast B gasser, I was there the next week. And we ran everybody.
Now you did run Dover. You did run Dover.
Dover Plains. The last race that I won in my life was at Dover Plains.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, I beat Bob Drake with old Rumble Guts. He had a blown Austin, and he and I ran the final. And I remember he did a burnout. His car caught fire, and he backed up, and the track owner said, Ralph, you can take the purse and go home. Don't worry about it. I said, no, I came here to race. And we ran, and I won the purse.
Ralph, do you recall what year that was?
Late 68.
Okay.
Late 68. And then when I got back to the house that night, Walter Pfeiffer, I don't know if you know Walter Pfeiffer.
No.
He had bought my Woolies. He bought the Anglia off me.
Is that right?
And that was the end for a while. And we built some street rods. And of course, my son was young, didn't have any money. You know, I sold the car for $4,200 on the trailer, with the trailer.
Now, off camera, we did speak about Montgomery. Now we're going back into the 50s.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, it was a great time. You had to be very innovative. You didn't have Heim joints. We didn't have Zeus fasteners. You know, you had none of that stuff. And everything you built, you know.
And you made it.
Yeah, we made it. Frank Cali did my last car. And my friend Ernie Gallo did the Anglia before that. You know, and when I built my Woolies, Ernie Gallo was going to do the Woolies. He says, Ralph, take a minute. I want to show you something in the backyard. So I walk in the backyard of his shop, and there's an Anglia sitting there. He says, this is the car you got to build. I said, everybody's got a Woolies, and I can't do that. 2 years later, I built an Anglia. But I had a good run. We had a lot of fun. I had a good crew. I had a bunch of guys that were devoted. They were always at the garage waiting for me. And if we broke a motor, it was a part the day we got home from the track that night, and Jack did it the next day for me. You know, he never, ever, ever let me down.
And that's why you were so successful.
Well, it's perseverance. It's what you want to do. Lunchtime, I worked for Chevrolet. I worked on my car. When I left work, I went to my garage. You know, and Saturdays, I used to work in the garage. I had a Honda generator and one drop light bulb, and I'd back my olds up to the door, open the trunk, and that was my tool bench. Didn't have anything, didn't even have an air compressor. but we made it work, you know. And then, I don't know if you remember Joe Anahuri.
I don't think
Well,
so.
he was one of the dead-end kids with Red Lang and those guys.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
And he used to come to my garage. Well, he worked for Joe Paisano, he worked for Schuback, he worked for Milodon. But he used to come to my garage anytime there was anybody in town that was like a top fuel guy like Garlitz or somebody like that. He'd come to the garage, you know, and introduce me to them. And I picked up a lot of little odds and ends, you know, from those people. And I guess it's who you know. And in drag racing,
sure.
in drag racing, you're either a crusader or a follower. I was a follower.
I wouldn't say that. Not at all.
His suspensions, and that's what I put in
Well,
my car.
you each picked up some tips from one another.
Yeah, well, that's what we did.
Now, what are you doing today? You know, nowadays.
I've got two stockers. I got an A stock automatic car Chevelle, and I got a B stock automatic 69 Camaro, and they're both fast. You know,
And where you running?
I run them NHRA.
Where? In English
I
Town?
run English Town. I run Cecil County.
Do you?
Atco. We're going Atco next week. So that's be the first open race this year. You know.
So you're still heavily involved.
Well, I lost my son in March.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't
He
know
was
that.
my inspiration, you know, to keep going. So
Well, that's terrific. I'm surprised. I didn't know that you were so active.
and I redid
you know?
my Anglia. I built the exact car I ran in 66, 65, and 66.
You built a replica.
Replica, same size motor,
Right.
a little better suspension, better clutch, Jericho. First pass, 950, 140
No
miles.
kidding. Wow.
And, you know, second faster than what I had. But it's all in the suspension, you know, tires.
Well, it's today's technology.
Yeah, and gear ratio. But a Hillborn injected, you know, crane cylinder heads, crane cam, just what I ran in the 60s. Same combination, except better suspension and, of course, you know, better technology.
Yeah, and the tires, everything else is different.
Yeah, sure.
Ralph, it's been a pleasure. All right.
thank you. I appreciate
I'm
it.
sure you enjoyed yourself today, seeing all the old timers, you know, and going back, reminiscing.
I just, you don't like to slight anybody, you know? Like I haven't seen Mike Saforza. I got to go say hello to him, you know?
Yeah, no, listen, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, but, you know,
There's a crowd of guys standing around here.
I must have spoke to 30 guys, you know, and guys are coming out of the woodwork, and it's great. It really is, you know. It brings tears to my eyes.
Well, that's good. You know what? That's what it's all about. That's what it's for. And many more years, you know?
Okay.
All right?
Standing next to me is a guy that knows it right from the beginning, and he knows it right to today. So I introduce you for a few minutes of conversation, Mr. Marty Himes.
Let me just tell you, my name is Marty Himes. I own the Himes Museum of Motor Racing in Bayshore, Long Island. 33 years already, and I preserve all Long Island history. That includes drag racing and hot rods and antique cars. I got my start in racing in Freeport Stadium and driving a soapbox derby car in 1952, which I still have. I could have brought it in a lunchbox with me. But I try to preserve all the history. And in case anybody doesn't know, when stock car racing started on Long Island, it was October 22nd, 1948, at Freeport Stadium. And the way that came about was the promoter, Jake Kettenberg, talked Johnny Coy into taking a ride with him to Philadelphia to Yellow Jacket Stadium because they had these newfangled cars they call stock cars. And Jake asked Johnny Coy to take the ride and give him his opinion. So Coy naturally said, if you run these at Freeport, you'll fill the place up. And that was the beginning of stock car racing at Freeport, October 22nd, 1948. And the first winner was Pete Davis, car number 52. How's that?
With this crowd, what is there more than I can tell you about Jack Merkel? Simply, Jack is everything to all of us. A successful racer, a successful engine builder, a successful businessman, a renowned circle track engine tuner, a renowned drag race engine builder, and a deep source of correct and up-to-date engine information. If all the gentlemen I just introduced you to were the nice guys of our sport, then Jack Merkel is the leader of that pack. For his total professionalism and deep appreciation, and for a lifetime of dedicated service from every one of us, here comes Jack Merkel. Jack, from everybody in this room, your importance to the sport, be it drag racing, street racing, drag racing, and stock car racing, all of it combined, you're the #1 guy. And we just want to show a small token of that appreciation. Jack, this is for you from us.
Okay.
Lots of people here like to say, okay, just watch yourself. Scott, thank you. Thanks. Gentlemen, Equipment is the company that endeavors to be a warehouse as well. That's what Butch Lehman has done for a good 30 years. Butch made it possible for the street rod guys, the weekend warrior, and the local speed merchants to expand the choices of equipment available to them, as well as being able to have it on the same day. A forerunner in the warehouse distribution business, Butch, please come up and receive this thank you from all of us. Thank you, buddy. You needed it. Okay, thank you.
Put on the yellow.
There have been many hot rodders on Long Island that went into the business of manufacturing a product for our industry. Every one of them set out to make race cars faster. Most lasted a while and did okay, but one did a lot more. A successful businessman, a successful parts manufacturer, they're not often found in one man, except for this man. The product is exhaust headers, drag race, high-performance street, boats, motorcycles, or NASCAR. All have been shown a better product from what they were using before they switched over to Cook's custom headers. For 50 years, my friend, George Chrising, has been a racer, header manufacturer, businessman, and another one of those real nice guys. To you, George, from us.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.